There are two types of shops that I see have the most success on Etsy. They are niche specific shops or product specific shops. A niche specific shop, that is such a tongue twister. This type of shop is focused on one specific niche with multiple different product types. Here's a perfect example of this type of shop. This is a shop on Etsy that, as you can see, they've sold nearly 2,000 items, which is absolutely insane, but they got their start being known as a bridal shop. As we scroll through, you can see that they sell multiple different product types. That is truly what they were originally known for, as being a bridal shop. As they've seen success, they have dabbled into a couple different niches. It's near Valentine's Day right now, so you can see they have some Valentine's Day items as well. But this would be a perfect example of a shop that is more niche specific and selling multiple different product types and seeing success with it. I've filtered by looking at their products that are bringing in the highest amount of monthly sales, and they have several product types that are bringing them in thousands of dollars each month, as you can see just scrolling through. And here's another shop that I found that actually was just started in 2023 and already has nearly 1,500 sales on Etsy. So that's a sign that something's going well and working for them. I love finding newer shops like this that are seeing success. And scrolling through their products, I would say that a lot of their different products seem to cater towards men and different hobbies and interests that primarily men have, like fishing and grilling. And they've expanded that male niche as a whole into multiple different product types. What I love to see when analyzing this shop, as I mentioned, it is a newer shop that just started in 2023, and you can see the listing age of majority of their listings, of course, is under a year. Some of their listings that are even seeing success are less than 6 months old, which is really cool. And so almost a year old shop, almost at 1,500 sales, which is such a great achievement. The other shop type would be our product specific shop, which is a shop that is focused on one specific product type and bringing that one product type into multiple different niches. This shop is the top shop on Etsy. They have, as you can see, nearing to 3 million total sales. They have chosen jewelry as their product type, and they have catered their jewelry and brought it to different niches and targeting different bits of SEO for different occasions that somebody might gift jewelry for, such as Mother's Day, a birthday, a bridal event, tons of different niches. It's very obvious that they're making a lot of money. Their top product is bringing in over $100,000 in monthly revenue. I would imagine that they are making out pretty well with this product type. Here's another shop that falls into this product specific category. Their product that they've chosen is apparel, primarily t-shirts. And as you can see, this is a shop that started in 2022 and has over 25,000 sales. Scrolling through their products, we can see that they target multiple different niches, more recently targeting St. Patrick's Day, with that being really the next big seasonal holiday coming up. But they also target more evergreens like birthdays and bachelorettes as well. Analyzing this shop, they have several of their items bringing in over $1,000 a month in revenue, which that is what adds up. That's honestly the dream with a shop. You never really want to have just a one-hit wonder. The most sustainable way to build a consistent stream of revenue for your print-on-demand business is to have multiple items bringing in smaller portions of revenue. That's really what I have found personally works best and what adds up with time. A lot of the listings that are bringing in that revenue for them are under 6 months old, so that's great to see. And here is one last shop as an example for this product specific shop type. This is one that has over 5,000 sales, and scrolling through you can see that they have done a lot with sweatshirts and then again catering to multiple different niches. This is a shop that's seeing success but also still growing. They have several listings that are getting them monthly sales, and this shop is just a little bit over a year old. I wanted to share these examples of shops in each category because they really represent the growth that can be possible when you have a more specific approach and strategy towards growing your print-on-demand business, which having a shop that fits into either the niche specific or product specific category allows you to do. The reason that these two shop types are successful is because they have taken the time to master a specific skill set. With a niche specific shop, they are the expert in that specific niche. And with a product specific shop, they are the expert in that specific product type. Like the first shop I shared, they are the experts in all things bridal, and they've brought that to many different product types. They know what individuals who are shopping for bridal type items are looking for. They understand the trends, they understand the design styles, and they've learned to understand the type of SEO that they need to use to get their products in front of the right audience. And similar with our product specific examples, they have learned to design and master the art of creating for their chosen product type. They understand what types of designs look good, what types of color schemes look good, and they again know how to really sell that type of product. What you don't see though, and honestly what we often forget, behind the scenes of each of these shop types is that they both still started from zero. And likely they required some trial and error in the beginning to really pinpoint what is and isn't working. In my experience, the shops that launch and immediately see success in sales are generally shops that are owned by someone who already has experience selling. For most of you listening, watching this video, you do not have prior experience selling anything online. And there's nothing wrong with that. That's okay, but that does mean that there will be a period of time where you are testing out some things and really just learning what works. But this trial and error phase is streamlined significantly when you are laser focused on one area at a time, such as a niche or a product type. Where I see most new sellers go wrong is they're trying to do a combination of the two. Shops that are trying to do a combination of both often look like this. As you can see, this shop has multiple different product types that they are trying to sell, and they don't really have a specialty quite yet. They haven't really mastered their design. They haven't really mastered their mock-ups either. They're using really just a lot of the print provider mock-ups, which is something that I do not suggest. Please, please, please invest in high quality mock-ups. It's so important. But unfortunately, this is a strategy, or more so they're a lack of strategy, that I just don't see many new sellers find success with. I personally find that these types of shops are often the individuals who are just throwing the spaghetti at every wall that they see, trying to see what sticks. And generally the only shops that I ever see doing this and seeing success or sales are often shops that are selling a bunch of trademarked items, which is not the smartest thing to do for long-term results, and it's also illegal. What we should be doing, instead of just creating any product type for a video that you see, for any random niche that you see someone share online, which I know it gets exciting. You see a video talking about a product type, talking about a niche, and you want to design for it, you want to create for it, but that's how we get into this kind of mix-matched shop type. We don't want to be jumping from product to niche to product. What we should be doing is making data-driven decisions. This is a huge focus in my mentorship group, the POD Connection. I have a link to that in the description if you are curious about joining our community. But what is a data-driven decision? Well, a data-driven decision, simply put, is a decision backed by data. How can we gather that data? Really, there are two main ways. The first is by doing proper research prior to creating. This should consist of researching a niche or niches, researching a product or product types if you haven't chosen a specific direction to go with your shop yet. And this research phase also includes design research. It's important to identify what types of designs and trends are currently selling. For this research, I personally like to use Everbee. It is one of my favorite tools for this process, but you can also do research for free on Etsy. How I typically use Everbee though is I look for a couple different indicators on whether or not a niche does have validation that it will be successful. Some of those key metrics are looking at the estimated monthly sales, as well as the estimated monthly revenue. Another important factor to me is listing age. I personally love seeing listings that are under a year old or even under 6 months. That shows me that that's something that has gained a lot of traction in a short period of time, which is what I want to target in order to grow and scale my print-on-demand business. And another thing that is very valuable to me during this research phase is looking at the tags that others are using for the specific niche. Now with Everbee, I typically enlarge the tags so that I can see the keyword score, which a question I'm often asked is what type of search volume and what type of competition would I look at in order to determine whether or not I'm going to pursue that keyword, pursue that niche? And my answer to that question, quite honestly, always sucks because I don't have a specific number that I really go to. But if that's something that you're ever really curious about, what might help you and what has helped me is looking at the keyword score that Everbee actually gives to you if you're somebody who uses Everbee, because what that is telling you is essentially if it is a good ratio of search volume to competition. So in this specific example here, we can see that there are a few keywords that they're using that have a keyword score of 0, which pretty much means that that is a keyword that is pretty highly competitive and likely a keyword that as a new shop, I probably wouldn't see a lot of traction with and a lot of success with. However, there are some other keywords that have smaller keyword scores like 10 and 20, which I might start to consider incorporating into my tags. And they actually have a really great keyword score here of 180 because the search volume to competition ratio is something that would be a lot easier to actually rank for if we were to use it in a listing. So I hope that that is helpful if you are somebody who uses Everbee. If you don't have Everbee and are curious to try it, I do have a link in the description that is actually 50% off for your first 2 months with Everbee, so you can definitely check it out, get a little discount with it. But really, I would just repeat this process, looking at those key metrics within the listing, and that is ultimately what would validate a specific niche or even product type for me. The second way that we can gather data is by analyzing the performance of listings in our shop. With this data-driven strategy, you can think of it like a science experiment. With a science experiment, you are working with different variables that can affect how your experiment plays out. Typically, when you add in too many different variables, it's hard to pinpoint exactly what caused the results of your experiment. But when you are working with only a few different variables, such as a niche spread across 3 different product types or 3 different niches spread across 1 product type, you can analyze the outcome of your experiment a lot faster. And when you get that data back, that's how you determine your next move. This is chess, not checkers. So, what do you do with all of this information? I don't want you to leave this video with more questions than answers, so I have a game plan for you, no matter where you are in your journey. For the first game plan, this is for you if you have not yet started your print-on-demand business. What I want you to do is first, pause the video, go grab a pen, piece of paper, something like that. I'll wait. Now what I want you to do is write down what you are personally passionate about. I want you to do a brain dump of all of your hobbies and interests, and once you have your list, that is where you are going to begin your research and determine, do they have an audience searching for them on Etsy? Are they in demand? This is what that research should look like. So a recent hobby interest of mine has been learning how to make sourdough bread, which, fun fact, I successfully made my first loaf, and I think it turned out pretty good. Tasted pretty good too. But say I wanted to research this to find out, is it in demand? Is it something that people are also interested in? And can I make this into a sellable product? How I would start my research for this is on Etsy. I'm going to start by just typing in sourdough, and naturally Etsy is going to auto-populate some suggested search terms for me. If you do not have a research tool like Everbee installed, you can use just this information alone. Of course, if you do have Everbee installed though, that is where you will see the actual monthly searches that are off to the right that I have here. But again, you can just look at these different populated keywords and that will give you information as well. Generally, if they're popping up, it's because people are searching for them. So it's a positive indicator if they're showing up for you. Something that catches my interest here is sourdough shirt. So I'm going to actually click into sourdough shirt. And right off of the jump, I can see that there are a couple best sellers already in this specific niche. And it looks like it's something that is pretty popular. Of course, I need to validate this a little bit more. Just because I see results doesn't necessarily mean that there is a high enough demand for it for me to target it in my shop. Something that I like to just do naturally on the Etsy search results is look at the total amount of listings. That is actually found right up at the top here. We can see that there is 1,000 plus results. What I'm going to do to take this research a step further is I want to see, are these shirts actually selling? For one, there are 2 bestsellers, which to me is a positive indicator that they are selling enough to earn a bestseller badge. But what I can do to take this a step further is going over to the product analytics. I personally always like to click search entire database. So this is going to take my search from just being on the first page of the results to the entire results. And I see a lot of validating factors for me for this niche. A couple of those factors for me are seeing the monthly sales as well as the monthly revenue. Another thing that sticks out to me is the listing age. A lot of these listings that are seeing these sales and seeing this growth are under that 6-month mark, which, as I mentioned earlier, is really that prime spot that I like to try to target when I'm looking at any different niche. Another cool thing to see is there are a couple shops here that are less than a year old as well, or this shop here that's just a little over a year old. It's always great to see relatively newer shops seeing success with some of their products. This specific listing is one that has had 20 plus views in the last 24 hours. So that is another way that I can find validation in a specific niche. Clearly, if it's starting to get a lot of views, that means that the search volume must be there as well. This is specifically an embroidered item, which I recently did a full tutorial on how to create embroidered mock-ups. So if that's something that you wanted to pursue in your print-on-demand shop, then definitely check out that video. I'll link it up above. Remember that sales come from search volume. So if there's nobody searching for the topic that you're researching, it's gotta go. Cross it off the list. From the research that I did on the sourdough niche, this would be a great niche to target based off of all of the information that I've seen. And once you've done this with what you have been searching for and you've validated a niche that's on your list, you're going to want to circle it and repeat this process for all of the different hobbies and interests that you've written down. The final part of your game plan is to look at your list of what is circled. Is there one specific niche that you circled that you are extremely passionate about? If so, that may be a great indicator that it is best for you to go the niche specific route and have a shop focused on that specific niche with multiple product types. Or maybe you are more multi-passionate about many of the different niches that you circled on your list. For you, it may be best for you to go the product specific route and create for all of those niches in your shop. Now, if you already have a print-on-demand business and you're struggling to grow, your game plan starts with determining what type of shop are you currently. Are you niche specific, product specific, or a combination of the both? If you are a combination of both currently, this does not mean that you go and bulldoze your shop and what you have. Successful individuals move forward, not backward, so that's what you are going to do. You're going to determine where you are so that you can select your next path forward. And if you are a niche specific shop or a product specific shop, this same game plan will apply to you so you can follow along as well. I want you to write down the niche or niches that you are currently trying to target and research them again. Even if you already research them again. Is there demand for that niche? And is it relatively low competition? If it meets that criteria, circle it and repeat this process for all of the niches that you're targeting. The final part of your game plan is to refocus your strategy going forward. Look at your list and what is circled. Is there one specific niche that you have circled that you're extremely passionate about? If so, it might be best for you to go that niche specific route, creating for multiple different product types. Or if you are the multi-passionate individual who has several niches that they want to explore, it will probably be best that you go the product-specific route going forward. Starting and scaling a print-on-demand business should be fun and enjoyable, which is why I recommend starting with the things that you're passionate about. When you start with these things that you are passionate about, you're also going to be able to relate and understand the niches that you have a passion towards a lot more, which will make designing and creating your SEO for them significantly easier. Let me know in the comments what type of shop you are going to start or what type of shop you currently have. And if you made it to this point in the video, be sure to include this secret emoji in your comment down below. I have tons of free resources for you in the description box, including my free Kickstart mini courses. They are jam-packed with value, so definitely check those out. And if you are looking for coaching, I have links to my one-on-one coaching as well as my group mentorship, the POD connection, in the description box as well. As always, I hope you're having a wonderful morning, afternoon, evening, wherever you are in the world, and I will see you in the next one.